agenda. So the agenda is going to be, we'll just go through a quick introduction where I'll talk about my background, just my journey through the analytics career. We're going to do two case studies, one about website experience and second about delivery experience. My career has been in e-commerce, right? I've spent a lot of time in an e-commerce company. So my domain knowledge is also pretty extensive in this domain. So website experience and delivery experience are two cases. Both the cases are designed a bit differently. The website experience case is more around problem solving, how to break down a problem. That's sort of the title of the webinar as well, right? How to create an issue tree, and I'll go over some tactics that you can use for problem solving. The second case will do problem solving, but it's more around critical thinking. So, for example, I'll give you some numbers, I'll throw some charts at you, and I want you to answer what what you think of the charts. We'll go over how to create a story around these insights. All of those skills are really, really important. So both the cases are designed to be a bit different from each other, so I don't repeat myself again and again. I know it's a 2-hour session, so I'll try to make it as interesting as possible. It's a Saturday evening, right? I want you to get the most out of your time as well. It's festival season as well, so I'll try to keep it brief but very, very useful for you. Again, we'll have a Q&A towards the end, so reserve your questions. Cool. So my background here, I started my career in analytics in actually 2014, but going just a bit before that, I'm a mechanical engineer by education. So I graduated in 2012. Like anyone from India, right? We do engineering and then decide what else to do, right? Or at least many of us. So in my third or fourth year, I realized I don't really want to do mechanical engineering. I'm more interested in numbers, math, business. So I went for my master's to the US in 2013. I did my master's in operations research. It's not a very well-known major, but you can think of it as data science at that point of time. Optimization, probability, statistics. Data science was just getting started at that point of time, just starting to get popular. And I kind of was lucky to graduate at that point of time. I started my career in 2014. I lived in Boston for about 8 years. I did my first job with a boutique consulting firm called Information Insights. I did marketing science there, marketing mix modeling, etc. I also did consulting with McKinsey for about 2 years in 2016. Then I spent a bulk of my time in the US at a company called Wayfair. You can think of it as a company for e-commerce for furniture. It's like Amazon of furniture in the US. So I was a senior analytics manager there. I led a team of 4 analysts and did a bunch of analytics there. Did like about 3.5 years. Cut to 2021, we decided to move back to India. I moved back for family reasons, and then here I uh, worked at a company called BrowStack. It's a startup here in Mumbai. So I led their product analytics, and yeah, since last year, I've transitioned into full time into mentorship, teaching. I also founded Insightus recently, which is the website you are currently on. I've also mentored 250 plus students trying to break into data careers. Right? So that's a bit about my background, so you get some context about my experience. Okay, so. If you think about it, there are three skills that make a great data analyst: technical skills, problem solving skills, and communication skills, right? I think there's a lot of emphasis on technical skills already. People know SQL, Python, Power BI, Tableau, and a bunch of other tools, right? There are tons of videos available for free, tons of resources as well to learn technical skills. Uh, but what separates you from the crowd are problem solving and communication. Especially because of the way AI is going, right? I'm sure you must have been exposed to a lot of these tools, ChatGPT or Copilot, or if you have tried already, you must have observed that it's able to write code, it's able to write some SQL code, right? So going forward, it's my belief that problem solving and communication is going to be more important than technical skills. Technical skills will not go away. Of course, you'll have to learn that, but the tools will keep evolving, right? So if you want to become a good data analyst or even data scientist for that matter, problem solving and communication are going to be your key skills that you need to develop. Ideally, you'll have to be at this intersection of all of these three. So all these three skills are going to be important, but I think focus more on problem solving and communication going forward. Cool. So why is problem solving important? This is probably the last theoretical slide. We'll jump into the case shortly. Uh, The goal of the analysis is often not clear. For people who have worked in the industry, right, it's very rare that you get a very well defined problem statement where you are told that, okay, pull this data for me, right? Pull top 10 customers for me. Maybe at entry level, yes, but as you transition or as you move upwards in your career, you'll be given ambiguous, unclear problem statements, right? Where goal itself is not clear. You have to decide what the goal is. Questions are not readily available. You have to come up with questions. Most of the projects that you see online will tell you that, okay, what are the sales number, what is it quarter over quarter, year over year, what are trends, etc. But those questions are not actually given to you. You have to come up with those questions. How do you actually come up with the right questions to ask? Stakeholders don't know what they want. When I say stakeholders, some of you might not be aware of that term. Stakeholders are people you work with, people who have interest in your work. It could be other teams, it could be leadership, VPs, it could be your manager, other teams, other business teams. If you are an analytics team, those are stakeholders. Often they come with requests where it's absolutely not clear to them what they want. They want you to figure it out. So that's why problem solving becomes very important. People want you to solve problems. They don't really care about tools. Right now it's SQL, tomorrow it might be something else. Right before it was Excel, now Python is popular. Right, so they don't really care what tools you use. They want you to solve your problems, their problems. Data is messy and often incomplete. I think enough has been said about this. Data is never really in a pristine state where you can directly start querying it. Insights and recommendations need to be actionable. No one really cares about fancy SQL queries. Oh, I wrote 3,000 line query, I did a great job, or I made a nice looking dashboard. No one really cares, right? And I'm sure people who are in the industry will identify with this. People want answers to this question. That's it. Also, problem solving is something that AI currently finds difficult to do. I don't know what the future holds, but currently, critical thinking and problem solving is what separates us from some of these AI tools. It may get better at it later on, but for now, I think it's a critical skill that you need to develop. Give me 1 second. I think, yeah, okay. Go to chat. Cool. Okay. Types of analytics problems. There are four types: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive. Descriptive is what happened in the past. Diagnostic is why did this happen. It's called root cause analysis, right? Why did something like this happen? You kind of go into the data to figure out why this is happening. What can we do about it? Predictive is what will happen in the future. More of a data science problem where you'll build models to predict what will happen in the future. And prescriptive is what should we do to make this happen. Often the problems will fall into multiple categories. Maybe a problem is first you figure out why did this happen, so that's diagnostic here, and then you tell the business that what should we do to make this happen, right? For example, Netflix churn has increased. When I say churn, I mean we have lost customers. Netflix as a business has lost customers. So first you figure out why that happened, and then you recommend actions for it. What should we do to make sure that churn does not increase, right? So most of these problems will fall under multiple buckets of these. It won't be a purely diagnostic, purely descriptive problem. Okay. Cool. So now coming to the interesting part. Again, want to emphasize it's going to be a very interactive session. So please participate. You'll get the most out of it if you participate. First case study. Okay, this is a problem statement. Website experience of customers has declined recently. Please investigate. That's it. Two-line problem statement. What are your initial thoughts about it? What do you understand from this? And feel free to write in chat. Whatever random thoughts you have. Website experience of customers has declined recently. Please investigate. What do you think we should do? First step. Any ideas? Look into if any changes have been made recently. Yeah, very good point. Look into any recent changes have been made recently. What else? We should check our purchase. Okay. What else? Anything else? So we this is going to be the pattern of the. Okay, I think someone's asking. Yeah. Okay. This is going to be the pattern of the case study where I'll give you a question. You can write your answer in chat, and then I'll tell you how I would solve it. So that's going to be the pattern of the entire webinar for today. So feel free to participate. Again, don't worry about being judged. I want you to participate. Anything else? Offers, okay. Check for unauthorized logins, okay. Yeah, good points. What else? Decline how? Not able to access or conversion has reduced? Very good question. This is a very good question. We don't really know what has declined. Website has become too slow. Good point. Internal and external factors. Yes, all agreed. Okay. So I think I think Crowdman, brought up a good point. Declined how? Not able to access or conversion has reduced. I think all of you have very good points that you brought up. But before actually, yeah, any new competitor, site in rise, exactly, all good points. But before jumping into solutioning or trying to come up with hypothesis of what has happened, I think again, very beginner mistake that even I have done is directly jumping into solution. We don't even know enough about the problem to actually try to come up with a solution. So I'll tell you how. First of all, before going into any kind of insight, any data, you need to understand the problem statement. First step, understand what needs to be measured. Be as specific as possible. If I go back, website experience, what do you actually mean by website experience? Does anyone know? What do you actually mean, website experience? What does it mean? How do you measure it? We don't know. From the problem statement, we don't know what the website experience means, right? Uh, Ask clarifying questions. You need to ask your stakeholder for more clarifying questions on what has happened, when did it happen, right? What is exactly the problem statement? Otherwise, you'll keep going into circles where you have so much of data, you have a very vaguely defined problem statement, and you will not find the solution. You need to be as specific as possible. Get historical context. What has happened in the past? Has this happened in the past before? Right? Ask questions. Has website experience declined before? Ask for recent developments. As someone pointed out, has someone changed? Has something changed recently? Right? Ask for recent developments. Mostly, what will happen is someone somewhere in the team has changed something and something has broken and everything has gone haywire. Right? And clarify expectations. What is the expectation here? It says, please investigate. What does it even mean? Right? What is an investigation? You don't know what the output of this is. What do you exactly want me to do? Right? Ask that question. So then you have a good problem statement. You ask all of these questions, then you understand the problem a bit better. Now take a stab at it again. What questions will you ask to understand this problem better? Again, chat is open. Based on the information that I just shared, what questions will you ask? Yeah, exactly. What do you mean by website experience? Very, very important question. What do you really mean by website experience? What experience are we talking about? Perfect. What else? Just to clarify, guys, you will get a recording which will be posted in the same link where you join. I don't want to break the flow of this, so I'm not answering that. But yeah, you will get a recording of this. But again, like if you want to really get the most out of the session, please, like you can be here. Recording will be available later on. Yeah. Yeah, continuing this history. Yeah, has this happened before? Has this ever happened before? What was the result of that investigation before? What was better or sane before, and what has declined now from the observer's POV? Exactly. What has actually declined? When did it decline? We can both check historical data and current data. Perfect. Yes, all of these are good questions. So let me jump to the actual well-defined problem statement in my mind. First question, what are we measuring? So let's say, I mean, these are examples. Website experience is an average of the satisfaction survey that pops up in the website asking rate your experience with the website. So basically, it's a result of a survey that people who are browsing, customers are browsing, and it pops up and it says, how is your experience going with the website? It's a scale from 0 to 10, right? And then people click on it, and we have taken the average of all such results, and that is your score. So that is what we are measuring. So now it's clear that okay, it's a result of a survey. That is what website experience means. Okay, what happened and when? We need to know exactly what is down by how much and when. So let's say average survey score is down from 8.5 in July to 5.2 in August. So now we know there is a metric. Its value was 8.5 maybe in July. Now it's 5.2. So now that we know it's probably down by whatever 30% or whatever that percentage is. And now we have narrowed down the timeline of investigation. If you didn't know that this was down from July to August, you would probably go for 1 year data, 2 year data, and try to figure out, right? But now the problem is clear. You only need to focus on 2 months. More history and context, I think we already discussed this. Has this happened before? Is there any other team also investigating this? What happens in big companies is that if something big breaks, there are multiple teams who investigate, right? You might be doing a lot of repeat work. If you're doing your work, someone else might be investigating and you'll be wasting time doing the same thing. So ask before, is there any other team? Can we collaborate, right? Recent developments. So as someone again said, what changed? So for example, they'll tell you, oh, okay, there were a few changes made by the website experience team, right? Some changes, we don't know what changes. You'll probably schedule a meeting with that team to figure out, oh, what did you make? What changes did you make? No major competitor changes or product changes. So this information is helpful for you to narrow down the scope of the analysis, right? If you didn't have this information, website experience depends on so many different things, right? Now that you know that or something has changed, you will directly go to the team and ask them, oh, what did you change? And then only figure out the results of that change, or at least analyze the results of that change. So you've narrowed down the scope before even starting the analysis. What is the expectation? The expectation is to find the root cause and fix the issues found so that the average score increases again. So, very specific expectation. We need to find out what happened, why did it decline, and we need to fix the issues. As analytics team, uh, ask this question, but I am a student. I don't understand the question properly. Yeah, question is why did the website experience go down? You as an analyst need to figure out why. Basically, a survey score that has asked what your experience with the website has gone down. It's similar to reviews, right? Product reviews. Let's say 5 star to 2 star has happened. Why did it happen? So something like that. You have to carry out some investigation into something. So that's I think it's boy is your nickname, but yeah, that's the question. You need to figure out something. Okay, the expectation is to find the root cause and fix the issues found so that the average survey score increases again. So goal is to increase the score again. It might not be up to you to fix the changes. You are not the website experience team, or you are not a product team, right? You are an analytics team. Sometimes it's not in your control to actually fix it, but it's in your control to tell the team that this is broken, fix it, right? So now this is an example of a well defined problem statement. I hope it's clear. I hope it's making sense. From that vague problem statement, we have now converted that into a problem statement that is much more detailed. It has narrowed down your scope, and you have some next steps that you can take, right? Okay, going to the next slide. Approaching the problem. Now, how do you actually approach this problem? Let's say you have very good problem statement now. It's descriptive enough for you to start taking action. You need to validate it. Sometimes what happens is they tell you that it's down from 8.5 to 5.2 or whatever that number was, but in reality when you check the numbers you might not see the same numbers. Sometimes there might be data logging issues. People are not collecting data from some set of customers, right? So it might be a system issue or actually an issue with like the customers are facing. You need to validate that. You need to check from your data that the number has actually gone down from 8.5 to 5.2. That is called validation of the problem statement. List down your hypothesis. Now, for those of you who don't know what the word hypothesis means, hypothesis is an idea that you have that might be the source of the problem. For example, website experience is down. Someone said website is slow. Website is slow is a hypothesis. Basically, it's an idea that you have that might be causing the website experience to be down. So that's called a hypothesis. I'll refer to this word going forward, right? Make them broad and then drill down. So I'll come to an example. I think it won't make sense right now. It's a bit theoretical, but when I come to the example, it'll make sense when I talk about make them broad and then drill down. What do I mean? Come up with slicers and metrics that can be used to test these hypotheses. Okay, what are metrics? Anyone? What are metrics? What do you mean by metric? Measure, yeah, basically a measure of something. Indicators, yes, indicators or measures of something that give you sort of a trend, revenue per month or revenue year over year change in revenue is a metric. 5%, 10%, right? You're measuring something. Slicers, what are slicers? Or dimensions, I think they're called, you can call it either slicers, dimensions. Yeah, segments, filter, some sort of category that you can break the data by. Yeah, exactly. All of you are correct. Right. So come up with these slicers and metrics that can be used to test these hypotheses. Again, I'll come to the example and you will understand what I mean by this. Prioritize your analysis by using knowledge from the problem statement step. So you have gained some knowledge from the problem statement step. That knowledge being that something has changed, something was changed by the website experience team. Use that knowledge. Don't go all in. I'll look at this customer, that customer, repeat customer, everything. Use the knowledge. So your analysis is faster, right? Okay. What are some ideas or hypotheses? Now that we have defined the problem, now that we know how to approach the problem, now come to the ideas and hypotheses that you can think of that might affect the website experience. I think you spoke about it. Some of you at least spoke about, or at least messaged about the hypothesis. When I say hypothesis again, website is slow. Look at the purchases. Any other ideas? Now that you know what a website experience is, website experience is basically that survey. It is down. Any other ideas that you can think of that might be affecting the website experience? Website is slow is one that you got. What else? UI has changed. Yeah, UI is not familiar. People were familiar with some other UI. Now it's changed and it's not really easy. Yeah, good point. What else? Break down the metric. Either could be due to reviews going down or more number of folks haven't pulled. Yeah, that's a good point. Just check the survey itself. Are more people answering the survey? What is the mix of the survey? Maybe more new customers are answering the survey and new customers are more likely to be frustrated, right? So something like that. Yeah. Too many ads in the website. Yeah, good point. Not working in specific browsers, not accessible in certain regions. Yeah, all good points. Okay, so what you need to do is once you have these list of hypotheses, right? Try to have the hypothesis in English, not in metrics, not in as you pointed out, right? Don't go into technical details right now. For example, something like this. First hypothesis. Even go one level above. Too many ads. All of this are specific. At what point of the website journey is this being polled? Okay, I think to answer, yeah, I think it's a good question to ask. It's probably, I mean, this is an example, so I would say it's at any random point right now. So we don't really know if it is at one point. You can think of it as a random point, but it's a good question to ask. Customers are not able to find what they're looking for, right? Website is not fast or reliable, and customers are not able to perform actions that they want to. Now, these three topics are very broad, but these are indicative of the customer problem. Now, after this, you can go into details of what subtopics you can put in this topic. Customers are not able to find what they're looking for. Why would that be? Can anyone answer? Customers are not able to find what they're looking for. What might be the reason for customers not being able to find what they're looking for? Change in web flow. Yeah, perfect. What else? Search being broken. Yeah, very good point. Search being broken. Yeah, usually that is the case. Search is broken. What else? Competitor. Yeah, that's a good point. I think, I mean, I wouldn't say it's exactly customers are not able to find what they're looking for, but maybe customers are able to find what they want at a competitor website and hence they are going to a competitor website. Okay. What else? Okay, customer categorization chain. Yeah, that's a good point as well. Categorization has changed. Basically, it's not really user friendly. Too many options. Yeah, again, very good point. Too many options, too few options, right? All of these are good points. Okay, website is not fast or reliable. I think is pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to ask a question there. Customers are not able to perform actions that they want to. What does this mean? Customers are not able to perform actions that they want to. What do you do on a website? Bugs, yeah, bugs. Okay. What actions do you perform as a customer on the website when you go to a website? Transact, yeah. Basically, you want to transact, right? You want to search for something. You want to placement of buttons is not appropriate. Yeah, all good factors, right? In the end, what you want to do is transact. You want to place an order. You want to find something that you're looking for and place an order successfully. That is essentially the point of a e-commerce website, right? Customers are not able to perform actions that they want to means that you are not able to do at least one of these steps, right? So now that you have these three buckets, what you can do is, yeah, don't get satisfactory service. Yeah, exactly. This is called an issue tree. If you go to any consulting firm or any technology firm, right, this is a framework that a lot of people use. So I'll just help you break this down. Here on the left is your core problem. Website experience score is down from July to August by X%. This X could be whatever. Yeah, frequent server problem, all good points. Then you break this down. You break this problem down into three parts that we just spoke about. Customer is not able to find what they're looking for. Website is slow or unreliable, and customers are not able to perform actions that they want to. Of course, there are multiple other issues that you can list. I've just listed three of them. Now, within this issue, you list sub issues. Why will customer not find what they're looking for? Maybe items are out of stock. Maybe we don't have the right selection for it. Maybe we are not showing the right search result. That someone said, right? Search is broken. So these are sub issues of this bigger issue, right? Second issue is website is slow or unreliable. Website does not load, or website is loading slowly, or navigation is challenging. Again, someone pointed out, right? UI has changed, navigation is challenging. Customers are not able to perform actions that they want to. Maybe they are not able to add to cart. Maybe checkout is failing. Maybe payment is failing. So now what you have done is you have taken this very big problem, you have broken it down into three parts and further broken down a problem into its sub problem. So now you can investigate all of these to figure out what is causing the website experience to decline. Is this making sense? Hopefully, right? This is how you solve a problem. You have a very ambiguous problem, very open-ended problem where you don't know what is happening. You break that down into further parts, break that problem down into further parts, and I'm sure you can break this also down in further parts. Like add to cart is failing. Why is add to cart failing? Right? People are not able to. Maybe the button is not working. Maybe people are not clicking on add to cart. Maybe the placement is somewhere else. So again, these are all sub issues. So you can further categorize this problem into another sub problem, right? So this is called an issue tree. I mean, if I had to give it a name, you break down a problem because it's a tree, right? You have like one branch and then you have multiple branches. So it's called an issue tree. Very, I think McKinsey has this very popular framework. I think anyone who goes to a consulting firm, they train you on this method, right? Okay. Now that you have these hypotheses, you need to come up with metrics. How do you actually measure out of stock? You need to go into the data to figure out, right, if items are out of stock. You don't really know. No one is going to tell you that items are out of stock. So what are some of the metrics that you can think of to track the hypotheses that are listed? So the question is, of the things that I listed, can you think of any metrics? Specific metrics. Metrics should be specific and measurable. When I say a metric, right, for example, number of new users coming to my website this month, it's a very specific metric. I can track it, right? So I'll go to this slide. How will you measure out of stock in metric terms? What will you measure? Any metric that you can keep track of? So metric usually has a numerator, a denominator, right? It's either like a percentage or some number that will show you that items are out of stock. Or maybe number of site visits by number of conversion per, yeah, very good metric. It could indicate items out of stock or not, but it's a very good metric. Number of site visits divided by number of conversion or vice versa, whatever, right? Which type of product is high selling? Yeah, I think which type of product will become a slicer. Basically, you will break this metric down by product category. It's a good point. We'll come to the slicers as well. Right now, we're talking about metric. Which product type of product is high selling? You will know and you'll check whether this product is out of stock or not. But you need to come up with some sort of a metric. Out of stock rate, number of items out of stock divided by total number of products. Perfect. Yeah, that's the metric I'm looking for. Number of items out of stock divided by total number of products. Basically, what percent of our inventory currently is out of stock? Has that gone up? Last month it was 10%. Right now it's 40%. So we don't know, right? Maybe a lot of products are out of stock and people are not finding what they're looking for. So that's an example of a metric, right? So I don't want to go into each of these. I'll just show you what kind of metrics for all of these that you can get. Something like this. Customers are not able to find what they're looking for. You can look at out of stock rate. You can look at percent of sessions where search results don't result in clicks. So you have 100 sessions. Out of that, maybe 20 sessions are such that no one clicked on a product, which means that maybe it's not what they're looking for. Has that rate gone up? Percentage of recommended results. So if you see an e-commerce website, they'll recommend you, right? This you might like this, you might like that. So maybe no one is clicking on that. So track that metric. Has that maybe gone down? Number of pages per session. So what do you do when you don't find what you're looking for? What do you do on an e-commerce website? What do you do when you don't find what you're looking for? Do you navigate the website or you leave? Just exit, right? Yeah, you exit the website. You're looking for whatever iPhone is not there on the website. You just look at some competitor website, right? That means that the number of pages you navigated in that session is extremely low. You just saw one page, you didn't find it, you went, right? So you track that metric, number of pages per session. Similarly, for website not being fast or reliable, average load time, percentage of pages with error. You must have seen 404 error, all right? Not loading, bounce rate, number of sessions where customer left without interacting, percent of sessions with no activity, right? Basically, sessions where people could not scroll or click. That is an indication of website not being reliable or fast, right? Lastly, customers not able to do what they want to do. You measure that 100 people came, maybe 80 of them viewed a product, 60 of them added it to cart, 50 of them checked it out, maybe 10 of them paid, right? You check out how many people you lost at each point of time and see if that rate has increased month over month. Achha, what time period are we looking at? All of these metrics, what should we look at? Which months? We have these metrics, but you need to compare, right? Between which months will you compare? Remember the problem statement. July and August. Yeah, perfect. July and August. No, not past months. Past months, the whole point of narrowing down the problem statement was so that we know this time period is the problem. July and August are the problem, so you will only look at metrics from July versus August and see the comparison. You will not see anything before that. Cool. So coming to slicers, I think for the best use of our time, I think I'll just quickly go over the slicers. I think we have one more case to do, right? So these are some of the slicers. Cut the data by important slicers. Country, platform, right? Mobile, desktop. Is the website experience down for mobile users or desktop users? Uh, Cut it by time of day, right? Maybe look at the average load time by time of day. Maybe there's one particular time where the traffic is increasing a lot, and that's why people are finding it hard to load the website, right? Break it down by product category. I think someone pointed out that earlier. New versus existing customers, right? So all of these are slicers. So all of the metrics that you had, right? Average load time, bounce rate, all of those metrics you will cut. Basically, you will filter by all of these slicers to see or narrow down where a particular problem is existing. So what you did was you took a problem statement, you broke it down, you came up with metrics, you came up with slicers. Now when you marry the slicers and the metrics, you will get your answers. This is what is called root cause analysis. You've basically narrowed down the problem. I'll take a break here and see if you have any questions. Is this helpful? Is this making sense? Yes. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Amazing. Good. 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 Cool. So this was the first case study. As I said, the first case study focused more on problem solving. The second case study is going to focus more on critical thinking, or how do you actually see numbers and come up with insights. Okay. If you want to take a 1 minute break, that's fine. Because again, you'll need to use a lot of your brain capacity here. So let's start in 1 more minute. Okay, I think let's get started. Okay, next problem statement is how can we improve the delivery experience of our customers? So here I'm not going to go into the problem statement part of it. I'll just tell you what to ask and then we'll go into the actual numbers here, right? So we'll ask the right questions, right? Say similar to the previous time. What is delivery experience? How is it measured? Maybe it's a survey asking how rate your delivery experience after the order is delivered, right? Again, it's an average measure, so it's probably a score from 1 to 10. What is the expected outcome? What do you want from this analysis? Now, if you look at the problem statement carefully, how can we improve the delivery experience of our customers? There is no defined goal, right? I mean, it's not like, okay, find out why website experience has gone down. We don't really have a metric that we can compare. It's a more open ended problem. How can we improve the delivery experience? It's asking us to find opportunities to improve something, right? So it's a bit different from the previous problem. So why do we want to improve delivery experience? Why is it important? Why is delivery experience of an e-commerce company important? What happens if people are unhappy with the delivery? Yeah, client satisfaction. No return customers. Yeah, good point. Very good point. If people are unhappy with your delivery experience, people will not come back. People will not come back to shop with us. So, no return customers. So, last point, have we established any relationship of delivery experience with revenue? It sounds obvious that yes, there will be some correlation between the delivery experience and revenue. But you as a data analyst or a data scientist has to validate that, right? Otherwise, all your analysis is pointless. If there's no correlation with revenue, you don't really want to improve the score, right? So let's assume that we have done all this analysis uh, and come up with these questions. What are some ways in which we can improve the delivery experience? How do we improve delivery experience? Think of the issue tree. What are the hypotheses or ideas? How do you improve the happiness of customers? Delivery tracking, yeah, very good point. Delivery tracking is a very important point. Basically, timely updates, right? Communication. Communication is very important. Delivery on time, yes, very good point. I mean, probably the most important point. On time delivery. What else? Hassle free delivery, yes, good point. Customer should be the least frustrated or shouldn't have to do anything to find out where is your delivery. They should get the delivery. Delivery partners satisfaction. Yeah, good point. Your suppliers and your partners are equally important as your customers. Quality of product. Providing realistic delivery dates. Very good point. OTP for security, good packaging. Yeah, all parts of good experience, right? So again, I'm just bucketing all of these in four broad buckets. I think three or four. Yeah, four. First, faster delivery. Yeah, I think everyone missed that. Faster delivery. There's a difference between faster delivery and on-time delivery. Improving the speed of delivery, get the items to the customer as soon as possible, right? Everyone wants fast delivery, right? That's the whole point of Blinkit and Instamart and all of these 10-minute delivery startups, right? Everyone wants not even 1 day now, 10 minutes. What's the difference between speed of delivery and on time rate? They sound very similar, but they're not the same. What's the difference between speed of delivery, which is number of days it takes to deliver, and on time rate, which is percent of time the items are on time? There's a difference between the two. It's a very, very important difference. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Percentage of delivery satisfied in promised time. How do you define that the delivery is on time? How do you know that? What do you compare against? You will, at the time of ordering, you will be shown that you will get this item in 3 days, right? And if you get the item in 3 days, the delivery was on time. If you get the item in 5 days, the delivery was late. It is different from the speed of delivery. Correct? There's a distinction. Speed of delivery is tracking. Speed of delivery is basically it took 8 days for the company to deliver the item on average. On time rate is percent of times where we said we would deliver in X number of days, we actually delivered in X number of days. That is the difference. Okay. Make sure the item is delivered as expected. I think this is something that we missed. It's there's no point to delivering a damaged item quickly, right? You have to make sure it's not damaged, it's the right item, it's the item that the customer ordered, right? All of these are important. Improving the communication experience, I think most of you or some of you already talked about. Okay, so now let's focus on the data. Let's say you are given this data. You have order ID, you have customer ID, you have gender of the customer, you have a customer segment, high spending or occasional buyer. So there are two types of customers, let's say, for simplicity's sake, high spending and occasional buyer. Then you have delivery speed days, which means it took these number of days to deliver the item. Then you have the expected delivery speed days, which means the company showed you that it will take X number of days. There's a difference, right? Expected means the company told you we will deliver the item in 5 days. Delivery speed days means actual number of days it took to deliver the item. I hope it's clear, those two columns, right? Satisfaction with delivery is the score, basically the survey score, and we have the order date. Now let's look at some charts. Okay, lots of charts. Let's break it down. I don't want you to get confused here. I'll explain what the charts are, and you tell me what patterns you're finding. Okay, first chart. First chart is average delivery satisfaction score by month. It's a scale from 0 to 10. The graph is a bit misleading, so 4 is a pretty low score. But yeah, it's a scale from 0 to 10, not 0 to 5. What do you see here? What's the average around? Pretty simple, right? Average around 4, around 4.4, 4.2. It's a pretty bad score out of 10, right? People are not happy with the delivery. Okay, what about this? Average days to deliver. Number of days it takes to deliver the item. And again, it's by month. On average, we're taking about 7.3 days to deliver the item. Can you identify some trends between these two? Is there any correlation between these two charts? Okay, think of it this way. If your average days to deliver, basically number of days you took to deliver the item, is high, what will be your average delivery satisfaction score? High or low? Higher the days to deliver, lower the rating. Perfect. Yes. Yeah, delivery days are more. Yes. Days increase, satisfaction decrease. Perfect. That's the correlation I'm looking for, right? So if you see the trend here, let's say from June to July. Okay, June to July, your number of days has decreased, right? Number of days has decreased from 7.7 to 7.3. From June to July, your satisfaction has increased. If you actually look at any data point here, you will find the correlation that this is inversely correlated. Basically, whenever the delivery days, number of days we take to deliver the item goes up, satisfaction goes down, and vice versa. Okay, customer repeat rate. This is the percentage on the left, customer repeat rate percent. Here you have the delivery satisfaction score. So what this means is, I'll interpret the graph for you. All customers who gave us 8 on 10 in the survey, 75% of customers came back and purchased with us. Is that clear? The graph? All customers who gave us, all customers who gave us 8 in the delivery satisfaction score, out of all those customers, 75% of them came back and shopped with us. What is the trend here then? Yeah, rating is directly proportional to return rate. Perfect. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. You see how score is increasing and your repeat rate is increasing as well. So there is a correlation, right? There is a correlation, and it makes sense also, intuitive sense also, that if you're happy, again, you're going to come back and shop with us. Okay, so have this in mind. Okay, we are going to go to the next set of charts. Okay, left chart. Again, order to delivery days here, right? So basically, how many days it took to deliver the order. What's the satisfaction on the y axis? What do you see from here? Only the left chart. On x axis is number of days it took to deliver the item. On the y axis is the average delivery satisfaction score. What do you see here? Yeah, longer it takes to deliver, lower the satisfaction score. Reducing, perfect. Yeah, it's obvious, right? I think you see here at 3 days, the score is about 8, 8.36. Between 4 to 7 days is about 5, and then it takes a nosedive, right, to 2, right? Okay, what about this? Number of days late. How do you define late? How do you define late? When I say item came 2 days late, what does that mean? 2 days late compared to what? Yeah, took more than expected. Basically, the company showed us, yeah, delivered date minus promised date. Perfect. Company told us it will come in 5 days, but it came in 9 days. So it's late by 4 days. That is what this metric is. Again, same thing, right? As the number of days increases, number of days late increases, satisfaction decreases. All of this is not very interesting, right? I mean, this is obvious. You know that if it's late or if it takes longer, your satisfaction is decreasing. So nothing actionable is coming out of this. It's very obvious. Okay, this is interesting. Now tell me this. So I'll explain the chart for you. Here you have the number of delivery days, so number of days it took to deliver. On the y-axis, you have average delivery satisfaction score. So again, survey score, how happy they are. It's broken out by high spenders versus occasional buyers. What do you see from this? It's a very interesting graph. It's telling us something. Whose score is higher? High spenders or occasional buyers? Whose is higher? High spender. Yeah, high spender का high नहीं है. Occasional. Yeah, occasional is higher. See here, occasional ka score is higher than high spender. What does that mean? For the same delivery days. Basically, what this graph is telling us is, if we took 2 days to deliver, the occasional buyers rate us 9 on average, and high spenders rate us 7.5. Why do you think that might be the case? Why do you think occasional buyers are rating us higher than high spenders? High spenders are rating us low. Any hypothesis or ideas? Yeah, exactly. High spenders might expect faster delivery because you are high spender, right? For example, a person who is spending money on an iPhone versus a person who is spending money on, let's say, Xiaomi or whatever. I mean, no offense to any brand, but some lower budget brand, right? The person who's spending money on an iPhone expects the delivery to be done in 1 day or 2 days, right? Anything more than that, they're going to be upset. Person who's a budget guy, that guy doesn't really care. Okay, 3 days, 4 days, right? High spenders have higher expectations. Yeah, occasional buyers could be acclimatized to delivery times. Yeah, they kind of expect that, oh, it's going to take 4 days. I don't really have an option. I have to shop from this website. I will do it from here. But high spenders, they want faster service. They want better service. If I am spending 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees on some items, I'm not going to wait for 10 days, right? I want it in 1 day. So high spenders actually have higher expectation. Is it making sense? High spenders have higher expectation than occasional buyer. That is what this graph is telling us. It's very important to convert these numbers into a story, right? That's what we are doing. We are converting these numbers into a story so that you can actually give insights. Make sense? Any questions here? Is this making sense, guys? Yes? Yes. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, last chart, and then we'll come to storytelling. Okay, very complex chart. Let me simplify this down for you. On the left, I have order to delivery days, I've intentionally made this case slightly more difficult so that you kind of get an idea of what to expect, right? There's no point in doing easy stuff. That doesn't get you good jobs. Okay, order to delivery days. Basically, it took these many days to deliver the item. Fine. In the columns, you have number of days late. 0, 1, 2 plus. So if I were to interpret this number, I would say for the customers or for the orders where we took 4 days to deliver the item and did not have any delay, it was not late, all those orders had a rate or customer satisfaction score of 8.1. I'll repeat myself. For all the orders where we took 4 days to deliver the order and it was not late, the satisfaction score was 8.1. Now tell me, what is this chart telling you? Very interesting chart. Any trend, any interesting trend you're able to identify? Longer delivery times with longer delays lead to lower ratings. Yeah, very good point. There's something more interesting than that. Like, same thing, but put it in reverse form. You're getting there. It's almost there. I'm looking for something. Yeah, breach of promise timings leads to lower scores. See here, compare these scores here. Right? We took 10 days, 8 days, 9 days to deliver. But if we have lower delay or no delay, your score is likely to be much, much higher than if we have even 1 day delay or 2 days delays. Does it make sense? Even if your speed is high, even if you take 8 days, 9 days, 10 days, but if you keep your promise, people are not that unsatisfied. Make sense? Yes? This is how you interpret this chart. This is the story coming out of this chart. If you take longer times and delay it, people are really, really unhappy. Again, makes sense, right? Intuitively makes sense. Cool. So here are the insights. Now you have to combine all of these insights into a story, right? That's what actually matters to the leadership. Insights, I think, are less interesting. Recommendations are more interesting. Longer delivery times and late delivery times understandably has higher correlation. 3 days, 7 days, there's a huge drop off in score. That's what we saw in the first chart. Not very interesting. But two things were interesting. Longer delivery times, where customers know that the delivery will take a long time, they don't get frustrated as much, right? That's what we saw in the last chart. High spenders have lower satisfaction than occasional shoppers for the same delivery time, indicating higher expectations of speed. So you have 3 bullet points, 3 insights that you came to from the charts that you saw. What are some recommendations you would give if you are the analyst here and you have these insights? What are some recommendations that you would give? I'll come. It's the next slide, but I want you to take a stab at it. If you have to like kind of put it all together and recommend some actions for the leadership, what would you say? This is the art. This is the skill that separates a good analyst from a great analyst. How do you build a story? Keep shipping under 3 days. Yeah, good. Yes. Keep shipping under 3 days because we saw that about 3 days the satisfaction really reduces. Yeah. What else? Increasing the delivery experience from 4 to 5 will improve the high spender retention rate by 50%. Yeah. Good. Okay. What else? Any delays need to put advance notice to customer. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Yes. What else? Because we saw that delays cause a lot of frustration, right? Delays cause a lot of frustration. What else? I think these are probably like one or two last slides of the case. So, okay. Question for you guys. What is the for high spenders, partner with services that assure fast and safe delivery? Perfect. I think that is one of the recommendations I have on the next slide. Yeah, you got it. For high spenders, you have to prioritize faster delivery. Okay. Try to deliver before the expected delivery date. Yeah, very good. Very good point. Okay. Okay, tell me this. How do you improve the on time rate? percent of times the item was on time. How do you improve that? There are two ways to do it, and one of them is very creative. How do you improve the on time rate? When I say on time, I just mean percent of times the delivery was on time. How do you improve that? Any guesses? There are two ways to do it. Review which products or segments has delays. Okay, yeah. What will you do with that? Let's say you got the products or segments which has delays. What will you do with that? You have to recommend something, right? So one way to improve on-time rate is, of course, delivering on time. Your speed needs to be high. Optimize for packaging, shipping, warehouse locations. Okay, is that expensive or cheap? Improving your speed, is it expensive or cheap? Do you know? Expensive. It's very expensive. Ask Amazon or any other company. It's very expensive to even get the time of delivery from 2 days to 1.5 days. It takes a lot of commitment. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm looking for. Commit longer delivery times and keep buffer. That's the creative way, right? We saw that the budget spenders are okay, right, with the delay. So if you think it's going to get there in 3 days, tell them it's going to get there in 5 days, and then basically deliver it in 3 or 4 days. They'll be happy. That was what I was looking for, without any cost, right? Improving speed takes cost, but committing longer delivery times does not take cost. It's very cheap to do, right? You just have to basically just add some days into it, into your expectation. So here's the story. Improving delivery times to less than 7 days, ideally less than 3 days, will improve customer experience, that we saw. But delivery time improvements require higher investment. You can't really overnight change your speed from 7 to 3 days or 1 to 2 days or 1 day, right? It'll take a long time to materialize. Instead, in the short term, add extra days. Add extra days to the expected delivery days, right? Well, if you're going to show 3 days, instead of 3 days, show 5 days. It's going to get delivered in 5 days. And then, because why is this the case? We saw that if there are no delays, people are not that unhappy, right? So just plan for that in advance, and that reduces customer frustration. But can we do this for high spending customers? Adding extra days to the expected delivery days. Can we do this for the high spending customers? No, we can't. Why? Because high spending customers already have higher expectations. If you are going to say that instead of 3 days, it's going to take 5 days, they're going to be even more unhappy. So just do this for budget customers. For high spending customers, because they already have expectations of faster delivery, adding extra days to expectations will not help. Prioritize faster delivery for such customers. I think one of your, I think Srishti already got this right. So this is the story. You saw how we took 5 or 6 charts. Each chart has some insights, but the the key or the key to being an amazing analyst is actually taking all of those insights and coming up with a story. See, all of these are related, right? We saw the chart where high spending customers have higher expectation. We saw that adding some days to the expected delivery time can improve satisfaction. So you kind of related all of this, put it all together, and built a story around it. So this is an example of a good analysis, right? It's not very fancy, right? I'm not using any fancy Python code or statistical modeling or nothing of that sort, but it's a very powerful analysis. It's an example of what e-commerce companies actually do in real life. Any questions on this? Was this interesting? I hope it was interesting for you guys. Just getting a flavor of actual real world problems, not very specific or very pointed questions ki ye data pull karke lao, wo data pull karke lao. It's actually a problem that you solve in a real company. Loved it. Really nice. Very good to know. Okay, so these were the cases. I think I just wanted to announce that. Okay, before that, I think these are the code. If anyone's interested in SQL codes of these are the codes I wrote to get all of these insights. Very simple code, right? I use some window functions here, some joins here. I converted ordered it into the right format. All of this. So this is a technical part. I think everyone probably knows already, or can, with some practice, no. But the actual critical thinking and problem solving is the more interesting part, in my mind at least. But this is the query in case anyone is interested. Okay, so I'll just talk about a course. I No one likes promotions or ads. I'll just talk about it for 5 minutes, then we'll jump into Q&A. Right? I'm actually launching a course that does exactly this. It's kind of a data analyst job simulation. Starts next week, uh, where we will take 3 real world projects. We will start with the project email, right? An email you get from a leadership. You will decode the email, similar to how we started today, right? With a very vague problem statement. Then we'll discuss together how to actually decode this, how to solve the problem together, how do you actually simulate meetings, right? Prepare for a stakeholder meeting, what questions to ask, what data to analyze, how do you break down the problem, how do you scope the project, right? And of course, this project will involve technical skills as well. Here, I didn't go into technical skills because like I didn't have the time to do everything in 2 hours. But we'll write advanced SQL queries, we'll build some dashboards, we'll clean data, we'll generate insights, we'll come up with recommendations and storytelling and kind of present to executives, right? So we'll simulate a real data analyst job, not the way it's done in like theoretical, simple problems. We'll take somewhat complex problems and try to solve it together. Of course, I'll have more time. I'll come to the course details in a bit, but it'll be more detailed, more explanations, not as fast paced as it was today, right? So, and we'll use SQL, Power BI, Canva, all of these tools. So this is an example of a project. This is the first project that we'll do. You get an email from VP of Growth saying we have seen a sharp decline in revenue. We should have caught this sooner, but we need to figure out what caused this. CEO wants this next week, right? So this is all you'll get, right? And then we'll discuss what data to pull, what hypothesis to come up with, what queries to write, what dashboards to build, what metrics to create, where is the root cause. All of that we'll do in detail.